Hey to all my friends out there in YouTube land. This is Jack from Jack's Hobby Hut, man of 1,000 hobbies. I'm going to talk today a little bit about restoring Lionel trains. A lot of people say you really shouldn't restore a Lionel train because it decreases the value. I'm not really sure that that's true. I'm sure in some certain cases where you have a pristine sample of a particular train that's rare, that's an original box and in mint condition, that may be the case. But obviously, you wouldn't want to restore a train if it was pristine, original condition. So I have a train here that I bought. This is a Lionel standard gauge observation car that I'm in the process of restoring. And why I did this was I have a set that's missing this car, and that set is in pristine condition, all in the original boxes. It was given to me by a very good friend of mine. And the only car I need to replace, because it is missing from the set, is the observation car. So I got this car on eBay really cheap. It was, I don't know, $20, $25. And I already took all the rust off the body of the car itself. I primed it. I polished all the parts that needed to be polished, whether they be brass. I have some nice brass parts that are polished like new. And also the tin plate wheels, which were all rusty. They were really in bad shape. I polished them. Here's the truck that's all cleaned up. That was all rusty. So, a car that I paid $20 for, if I'm going to restore it, I'm going to spend the time to restore it. And I'm going to invest a couple of dollars into it. It's certainly going to be worth more to me restored, in a restored condition. I'm not sure about anyone else, but I would venture to say that a train car that's rusty and basically on its way out, if it's restored to original condition, is going to be worth more than an old rusty train car. So I started restoring that car, and then what happened was I found another one on eBay for almost the same price, maybe a little bit more. That I wasn't sure if I would have to restore it when I got it, but this is the same car. It's a 341 standard gauge observation car. And this one is not pristine, but it's really not that bad. It's really not in bad shape. So what I'm going to try and do, here's the roof, which I already took off, and I actually already washed this with some Murphy soap and a little ammonia and some water. So I already washed the dirt off of it. It was pretty dirty. But now what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to take this train car and I'm going to polish it using a 4-step Meguiar's wax polish system. Number 2 Meguiar's, followed by a number 9 Meguiar's, followed by a number 7 Meguiar's, followed by 26 high-tech yellow wax. So let's try that, see how it works out. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Meguiar's number 2, and we're going to put a little bit on a flannel, piece of old flannel shirt. Mix this up real good. Now the number 2 is that's not the number 2, this is the number 2. Number 2 is a heavy cut polish. And hopefully it won't take the paint off this piece. That's what I'm hoping. But let's see. I've never done this before on an old 80-some-odd-year-old, almost 90-year-old train. So we're going to take a look. I'm going to go easy with it. I'm not going to rub too much. There it comes. All right, let's take a look and see if it works. This is actually a method that I use in another hobby of mine, which is model building, plastic model cars. And you want to polish up a plastic model car to look like a real paint finish. Boy, I'll tell you, this method works really well. All right, so I'm going to polish this up. I'm going to rub this wax into it, or this polish. And it looks so far so good. It doesn't look like any paint is coming off. I probably should have used a lighter color rag. I would have been able to tell better if the paint was coming off. But let's take a look and see if this works. Yep, doesn't look like the paint's coming off, so that's good. All right. And I'm not going to bore you with the rest of this first step. I'm just going to rub this on, and I'll come back when I'm done with that step. Okay, I finished that first step, and I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but the paint finish has been dulled slightly from that first application of the Meguiar number 2. Now that's normal because the Meguiar number 2 is actually cutting the fine scratches and stuff off the top layer without damaging the paint itself. So that seems like it was pretty successful. So the number 2 was the first application. Now we're going to go with the second application of the swirl remover, the number 9. The second product that we're going to put on there. Let me shake it up, and we're going to actually use a different cloth. You don't want to use the same cloth. You want to change cloths. Only use one cloth per product. Okay. All right, number 9. Here we go. Let's see how this works out. This is a little thinner. It's got a milky, more of a heavy cream consistency. And this is going to start to bring the shine out. Let's see how this works out. And you just rub it on. That's basically it. Rub it in circular motions, just like you would do if you were polishing your car. Same thing. Okay, and again, I'm not going to bore you with the complete application. You get the idea. I will complete the number 9, the mirror glaze number 9 swirl remover, and then once that's completed, I'll come back and show you the results. Okay, we finished the second application. It's looking pretty good, and now we're going to move on to the third application, which is the Meguiar number 7 show car glaze. So we're gonna put that on next. Shake it up good. Use another rag. You don't want to use the same rag. We're going to get rid of that. And take a new rag out from our rag pile. And we have a new cloth that we'll use. Again, this is going to be the Meguiar's number 7 show car glaze going on next. And we'll put a little on the rag. This has got like a brownish tan color. And we're going to put that on next. There we go. And again, I'm not going to bore you with the application process, so I'm just going to continue this, and I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, I applied the Meguiar's number 7 show car glaze. Now, before it dries, you don't want to let this stuff dry. You want to take a nice soft cloth and buff it. And you'll see that this is really going to start to shine. And it really looks good. Now, this is not the final step, but you can see how much shinier this is. Just dry off my hand a little bit. There we go. See how much more of a light reflection we have in that piece once you polish it. And once this is all polished out, you see how nice and shiny that is now? Once this is all polished out, we're going to go with the last step, which is the high-tech Meguiar's number 26 yellow wax. And that's really going to put a high gloss, almost like a wet look shine on this piece. Again, we're going to change rags. Just buff this a little bit more. I want to make sure all that product is off. Move this out of the way. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. All right. All right, let me take another rag. Get our number 26. Meguiar's 26 high-tech yellow wax. Mix it up good. Okay. And a fresh rag. And we're going to apply this to the surface. If it comes out, here we go. All right. And again, apply it in a swirling motion. Now we're going to maybe apply more than one coat of this stuff, which is fine. Let me open this up. This seems to be a little clogged. It should be okay. A little more on there. Yeah, we got a clog here, so I'm going to open up. I haven't used these in a while. Just going to put it on like that. Make it easy. Okay. And again, I'm going to keep on applying this. I'll come back when the application is done and before I buff it out. Okay, the application of the 26, the high-tech yellow wax is complete. Now I'm not going to buff that until it dries. So it needs to dry to a light haze, and then I'll take the buffing cloth and I'll buff it out, and we'll see if it needs another coat. I don't know if it will. I'm not really sure how it's going to come out compared to a pristine version of the same model, but we'll take a look. We'll see. Okay, I'll be back once this dries and we'll buff it out. All right, that seems to be dry enough. Let's take the buffing rag, and you can see what a nice shine that has. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to look nice. I think this is going to work out just fine. Luckily, there's not there's no rust on this piece. There are a couple of chips here and there. And actually, I can deal with the chips with a touch-up paint. I do have this this color paint and a heavy enamel. If I need to touch it up, I'd even be able to touch it up with a with an airbrush if I think it's necessary, but I don't think it will be necessary. The little spots that are chipped are really not that bad, not that noticeable, so I think I'm just going to leave it. Now what's going to happen is the entire train is going to have to be disassembled. You know, and the entire train car will have to be polished, cleaned and polished in the same manner. But I think once it's done, it's going to look brand new. Again, this is for someone who may want to take an old train, make it look a little better, clean it up, make it look nice and shiny, rather than restoring, you know, stripping paint, repainting, and restoring an entire train. A lot of trains really don't require that, so this is the next best thing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another coat. So I'm going to do another coat of the 26 wax, high-tech wax on this, and then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like after the second coat. Okay, I did the second application of the number 26 high-tech yellow wax, the Meguiar's. Now we can take a look and see what it's going to look like once I buff it out. I'm using a really, really soft paper, like a paper napkin. It's almost like a fabric that I got in a restaurant in Pennsylvania. Smuggler's Cove Fine Food and Spirits on 611 in Pennsylvania. Here's an advertisement for Smuggler's Cove, and it's a really good place. I eat there a lot. Whenever I'm in that area, I stop in there for lunch or for dinner. It's always a good place. Now, if you go in there, don't go in just to take napkins. Make sure you have dinner. They have a nice salad bar. But on the way out, you can take a napkin. And you can use it for buffing your trains. It really works good. Okay. This is really coming nice. I can continue, and if I wanted to do another coat, I can do another coat. But you can see what a result you're getting here just from using the polishing method rather than stripping and repainting, which you know, it gives you good results, but it's a lot of work. I've done a lot of them in the past, and it is a lot of work. But if you have one that's not too bad and you just want to make it look new, you can try this method. And it's really an easy thing to do. Just have to go out and get the 4 Meguiar waxes. There we go. Check that out. It's got a nice shine on it. And I can take a look and show you the difference between that and the actual train car itself. Let's take a look here. We'll be able to see the difference in finish. Okay, this is actually in the original box also. All right, so we have the train car and the roof, and you can see the difference in the finish, how much shinier the roof is. Not that this is real bad, it's not. Once it's waxed, it'll look even better. So if you take a look side by side, you can see the difference. It's got a really high gloss compared to the little, the less glossy, a little more dull train car itself. So it's a good method. A lot of guys will say, well, you don't really want to do that. You want it to be original. But again, I don't buy trains for their value. I buy trains because I like them. I love toy trains. I love restoring them, especially older trains that are in bad shape that somebody basically rescued from a garbage can. I like to rescue those trains and bring them back to life, whether it's as close to new as possible or just to running condition. But it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely worth the time to do it. Okay, gang, that's it. I just wanted to show you what you could do with some wax to the finish of your train. In a situation where you might have a train that you don't want to fully restore, but you just want to make it look a little bit better, a little brighter, a little shinier, a little more like new. It takes a little cleaning, a little polishing, and that's basically it. So let's go over the product again one more time. The first product you use is the Meguiar's, the number 2, which is the fine cut cleaner. Basically cleans the surfaces. The second product to use is the Meguiar's swirl remover number 9. The third product to use is the show car glaze, the Meguiar's number 7. And the fourth is the high-tech yellow wax number 26. Now, when you after you use this 26, you can actually any of these products you can put multiple coats and do it multiple times. I'd stay away from doing that too much with the heavier cut stuff because you don't want to take the paint off. But once you get up to the high gloss, the high tech yellow wax, you can put as many coats on there as you want. The more coats you put on, the shinier it's going to get. So it's really nice, really good. And again, like I said before, a lot of people will say, oh, you shouldn't really do that. You're going to spoil the value of the train. Well, unfortunately, things aren't like they were back in the late 70s and 80s where toy trains were going at a premium. A lot of people had trains in their basements and their attics that were worth more than their houses. Those days are gone, unfortunately. I wish they weren't, but they are. So now, when I buy a train, I don't buy it because of what I think it's going to be worth in the future. I buy it because I like it. I buy it because I want to run it. I want to make it look better. I want to restore it to its original condition so somebody else can enjoy it for another 100 years. A lot of these trains are already 100 years old or close to it. So that's it. I just wanted to give you a tip. What I might do is, after I finish polishing this train in its entirety, I'm going to have to disassemble it and clean it. It's pretty dirty. You can take a look inside. It's really dirty. It's got a lot of dirt in it. The outside's a little dirty too. There's a couple of chips and no dents, luckily, but a couple of chips in the paint, which maybe I'll fix, maybe I won't. We'll see how it comes out. But what I might do is, after I restore this version, the same train, put them side by side and take a look at which one looks better. I'm venturing to say that they'll probably look pretty much the same. So we'll try that. That'll be in a future video once I get this one done. Okay, well, again, have fun with your trains out there. This is Jack from Jack's Hobby Hut, man of 1,000 hobbies. Be safe and be well. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.